Am I the asshole for expecting my daughters to share their grandma's inheritance 50-50 regardless of the will? I have two daughters that were my late mother-in-law's only grandchildren, Elise and Rhea. She always favored Elise because Elise wanted to follow in her footsteps and be just like her. She spent so much more time with Elise, teaching her her profession and using her connections to get her set up in her field. When she went into care, she had to disperse her assets to pay for it. She took yet another opportunity to favor Elise by making sure she alone got her tools and a small amount of land that she used to set up greenhouses. She passed a little over a year ago, and we got a letter in the mail about a trust that she had set up about a decade ago. There isn't much, about $30,000. The trust states that it's supposed to be shared equally between her grandchildren and can only be fully dispersed when the youngest is 21. The only two grandchildren are my daughters, Elise and Rhea just turned 21. We asked about it, and got the answer that unfortunately, only Elise is eligible to withdraw any money from this trust. She set up a clause that anyone who had a child before the minimum age to inherit is automatically disqualified. In short, if one of the grandchildren has a baby before age 21, they get $0 and their portion goes to the other heirs. Rhea has a 2-year-old son, and Elise doesn't have kids, so according to the terms, Elise gets 100. I'm pissed. My wife wants to just let it go and ignore that it ever existed, just like the land. I don't. My mother-in-law never treated Rhea like a real grandchild. She never spent real time with her or gave her the same opportunities. At the time she set this up, Elise had had to undergo a hysterectomy. She set this up so that only Rhea could fail and she'd have an excuse to get a dig in one last time. I swallowed the land thing because it was affected Elise's career and there were already things to maintain that only Elise cared to, but this is too much. I think Elise is obligated to do the right thing and split this with her sister. Elise thinks we shouldn't fight the will and my wife is trying to stay neutral. Edit. 1. Elise had PID from an STI she was born with. My wife got it from Elise's bio father, but didn't discover it until Elise was a year old. It didn't occur to her to test her daughter because she didn't realize she had it while pregnant. 2. Adopted children are just as real as biological children. AITA. Elise is her biological granddaughter, Rhea isn't. Elise spent time with her grandmother, Rhea didn't. Mind your business. You're the asshole. You have absolutely no say in this inheritance. It wasn't your money and you have no right to say how it is divided up. You also tried to sway opinion by leaving out that the girls are not biologically related and thus explains why there wasn't much of a relationship between your daughter and your mill. Honestly, yeah, you're the asshole. Sure, I can see how you want to split evenly, but it's not your money to make decisions on. You literally have no claim to it, or can make any decisions regarding it. It doesn't even come from your side of the family. Stomp your feet all you want, it's Elise's choice what to do with it now. Grandmother didn't like the idea of teen mothers, and made sure that behavior wasn't rewarded. Sucks, but that's how it is. Edit spelling. You're the asshole for leaving out that Rhea is your Mill's step-grandchild, and Elise is Mill's bio-grandchild. That's a pretty critical part of the story. You're the asshole. I get that you're unhappy, but this is not your choice to make nor your choice to impose. That's not how trusts and wills work. Talk to an attorney, but in all likelihood the only way for this to be lawfully distributed is in accordance with the conditions of the trust. You're the asshole. You have no right to question what other people do with their money and keep your nose out of other people's business. AITA. Grandmother went to give to Elise she can. The grandmother is no way obligated to give money to Rhea. And neither is Elise. You're the asshole. This was your grandmother's decision, not yours. You're the asshole. It's not your decision. It was your mother's. And it's not that much money. Do you really need to perpetuate more bad feelings over the wall by pitching fits over it? You're the asshole. You and Ray are not entitled to Elise's heritage. Mel did what she thought was right and that's it. You're the asshole. This was your MIL will and she is the one that showed favoritism and both your children are old enough to understand this. However, this is her money and her will. If your daughter Elise feels like it, she might share the money, however this should be her decision and not done under pressure from you. There is no obligation here. You pushing for something else might ruin the relationship of your daughters. You're the asshole. This is not your place. Fighting this will only lead to greater animosity between you all. Info: you say Ray was 11 when this was set up but that grandma set it up knowing only she could fail. Did Elise have a hysterectomy at 12? You're the asshole. It's not your money or inheritance. You're the asshole here for stirring the pot over a wall that you have no say in, and your opinion and outrage is only going to make this harder on Ray. Let the two sisters work their own relationship out going forward. Whatever went on that made their grandmother greatly favor one over the other, it's not something you can override. Info: did you and your daughter know about the provision in the will prior to this? I.e., did your daughter know when she got pregnant at 19 that would result in her being left out of the trust? It honestly doesn't change my judgment either way, but I'm curious. You're the asshole. She can do whatever she wants with her money. That includes giving it to her only biological grandchild if she wishes. Glad I looked at comments before judging. AITA, huge AITA. Your wife adopted Rhea, her mother did not. Her mother is under no obligation to leave her anything, but she still did anyway with the stipulation that neither get pregnant, so Rhea knew she was out of the will. Even if she left her nothing though, it was Mil's money, and she can divide it however she wants, and she wanted to leave it to her granddaughter. Stop being an entitled leech. You're the asshole. The clause disqualifying a grandkid who would have a baby under 21 didn't target Rhea. It was done 10 years ago. This is not your money, it is Elise's. Let her be FFS. Their ISNT much, about $30,000 facepalm medium skin tone emoji modifier #hash. You're the asshole. If MIL and Elise had a better relationship and MIL wanted Elise to have the money, then so be it. It's a legally binding rule, so you'll just have to swallow it. You're the asshole. MIL saw little of Ray and did not encourage her to make poor decisions. I am not sure how you think she set her up to fail. But even if she had explicitly excluded Ray, you are still the AH. You and your wife decided to adopt each other's kids. Your MIL did not. Elise is her granddaughter with whom she has a close bond and shared interests. Ray is the child of her daughter's husband. You seem to have a misguided idea that you can force familial bonds. But your MIL does not owe your daughter an inheritance. Rhea not having a hysterectomy is not the reason she didn't get the inheritance. The teenage pregnancy is. Are you saying MIL bet that Rhea would get pregnant around 18-19 when she could have easily just gave it all to Elise? Grandmother was not blood related to the daughter. She did not leave money to you. Should have included this relevant info in the original post and did not agree with her life choices. You're the asshole. You're the asshole. It's not your money, it's not your choice. If Elise wants to share it, she can. That's her choice. ETA, my original comment isn't relevant. I spoke a lot about how unfair things were and not becoming like the MIL OP. You completely buried the lead. Rhea is not your Mills granddaughter, and if I understand correctly, you aren't Elise's father. You're completely the AH. Elise owes your daughter nothing, you don't get a say, your daughter doesn't deserve anything from your MIL. You're the asshole. Elise is making something of herself and you raised a teen mom. Focus on yourself and your own failures, leave Elise alone. You're the asshole. She wanted the money to go to her biological grandchild who spent time with her and followed in her footsteps. She also obviously didn't want to reward your daughter's poor choices to have a child while she was a teenager. That's her right regardless if you agree or not, and you have no right to dispute it or try and guilt-trip your stepdaughter into giving her inheritance to someone her grandma didn't include in her will. Edited to add, you are also an AH for not including in the original post that your daughter is not her biological grandchild. AITA, your mill can disperse her assets however she wants. It's none of your business. Having read your comments, while you and your wife may have adopted both daughters doesn't mean the grandmother was close to both girls. Not getting pregnant before 21 is a pretty low bar to meet, so you're making much out of nothing.